Hello, thank you for joining me. This is our film number 3 in our series getting started with, almost said AutoCAD, SolidWorks. I don't know why you keep saying AutoCAD, I haven't touched that in a couple months, but anyways, we're working with SolidWorks right now, and this is a getting started video with SolidWorks. So one thing to keep in mind about SolidWorks is for what we're doing right here to draw a 2D sketch in order to create something 3D out of it, we have to pick a plane. So SolidWorks gives us 3 primary planes to start with, so we have something to start with. And right now we're going to pick the top plane. So yours might be a little bit different. You might have a different orientation on that, but your top plane should look something like that. Front plane should look something like that, and your right plane should look something like that. So if we click the top plane, and we can maneuver that into place, but just for demonstration, we're going to leave that as it is. When we click in that plane, it's going to assume we're going to do a sketch. So in our command manager, sketch is already going to be up, and if you go over here and choose center rectangle, that sketch will become normal to the screen. So it's asking us right now which plane we want to click on. You could click the plane first and then go to the sketch element, or you can click into sketch element and pick the plane. So it's giving us the 3 primary planes we want to draw on. And yes, we want to do the front or the top plane. And then we're going to draw that on top of that. So this really isn't in the orientation that we like. So let's start this all over again. Let's click the top plane. First, go to center rectangle, and you notice that it will now become normal to the screen, which is what we're used to seeing. And with the left mouse button clicked, we're going to spread that rectangle out, and there we have it. A little bit slower now. Center rectangle, click in the origin. Remember I was telling you the origin will show up in the sketch when you get to the point where you're drawing, when you're sketching. So we're going to click in the origin, and we're going to draw a rectangle out. One thing to keep in mind, our cursor that's over here in the upper right hand corner looks like a pencil with the center rectangle command showing next to the pencil. And then we also have coordinates. It shows our coordinates of x is equal to 6 and some change, and y is equal to 4 and some change. And that's pretty darn close. What we're going to be doing is in the x direction, we're going to make that rectangle about 6 inches and about 4.5 inches on the y direction. Get it rough. It doesn't have to be perfect, but get it rough. And then when you're all done, take that left mouse button, which is still depressed right now, and unclick it. And there we have our rectangle. Now before we do anything with this, let's talk about some of these things that you see on the screen right now, just briefly. Just briefly, because we're going to go in more detail later. We have sketch relations. These green elements are called sketch relations. These sketch relations right now are, well, let's just talk about it. This one's a vertical one. That's a vertical one. This is a horizontal one, and that's a horizontal one. And what that means is that this line over here is a vertical line and will always stay vertical. This is a horizontal line and will always stay vertical, or always stay horizontal. That one will stay horizontal, that one will stay vertical. It helps define our rectangle that we just sketched out. A couple other elements in here too. I'm going to press escape a couple times. You notice that the lines change from a light blue, which is a selected line, to a dark blue, which is an unselected line but an undefined line, and then later we'll see some black lines, which is a fully defined line. So we have some more sketch relationships in here. Again, if we click on these sketch relations, it shows us in pink yet a 4th color of a line. It shows us in pink what that sketch relation refers to. There's a pink line, there's a pink line, so for that vertical sketch relation, it refers to that vertical line. This diagonal line is defined by this sketch relation. This diagonal line is defined by that sketch relation, and then this one is simply a point. And that point is in the midpoint of all these lines. You can't really see it, but there's a point in there. And if we take our pick box window and draw it around that point shows up. So these are coincident sketch relations. We haven't talked about these yet. These are coincident relationships. So this line is coincident with the origin, that red arrow in the back. This line is coincident with the origin back there, and then the point that's right there in the middle that's on both of those lines is also coincident with the origin. So the origin is exactly right in the middle of this rectangle that we drew. We're going to visit these concepts later, so let's go ahead and move on. Let's put dimensions on this. Go to Smart Dimensions on our sketch toolbar in our command manager. Click in this line. Pull that dimension out with your left mouse button. Left mouse button one more time, and let's define that. We said we want to make that 4.5 inches, so we'll type in 4.5. And then this line, we're going to make that 6. Now, something about sketching right now. Our dimensions fully define the sketch. And this is an important relationship to keep in mind here. With these sketch relations, the horizontal, vertical, horizontal, and vertical, and our coincident relationships in the middle, which puts our origin right there in the middle of our rectangle, by putting these dimensions on it, we have fully defined our sketch. And a fully defined sketch means that the elements of the sketch cannot move. Let's demonstrate that a little bit by taking out these dimensions and show you what we can do with the sketch. We could stretch it out, we can flip it around, put it on the other side. If we were to take that sketch relation off by clicking on it and taking that line and moving it, now it's no longer vertical, but the other sketch relations still hold there. We could take that line and make that vertical by going to that quick access menu on the right hand side of the mouse, make that vertical again. And we put our dimensions back on this thing, and once we put our dimensions back on this, our sketch becomes fully defined. You don't necessarily have to design with fully defined sketches, but for now, in this part of the quarter, I'd like you to do it because it's important to make sure that your parts are true when you're modeling them. Because we're going to put dimensions in here for elements that are going to rely on a fully defined sketch in the background. So it's a good practice to make sure you put all your dimensions on there and put all the sketch relationships in there in order to have a fully defined sketch. Okay, that's a lot of information for this video. Let's pick this up in the next video and we'll talk soon.